A quick introduction about myself. My name, as Felicia mentioned, is Apurva Mehta. I'm the Associate CIO here at UMass Boston. I wear mainly a teaching and learning hat. So we work very closely with faculty on everything to do with teaching and learning, whether it's a learning management system, all the software applications that go and support teaching and learning. And we also include classrooms and classroom technology, as well as research computing. And anything else my boss asked me to do. So besides that, so that's kind of my portfolio. So a lot of it, which what I will be covering today, is sort of focused in that direction. But if you have questions along the way, we can certainly talk about it, discuss. If you, I think more importantly, if there are things that you would like to see us do, or like to see IT sort of take on, or the things that are not working properly, and you'd like to see us improve our service in certain areas, I'm happy to listen, take your concerns, try and respond to them, and escalate and get back to you with a resolution. So hoping we can keep this, as Felicia had mentioned, a two-way conversation. And I'm going to share a slide deck. But again, if you have questions along the way, raise your hand or ask. I think Felicia or someone will monitor the chat. So what are some of the trends that we are seeing at UMass Boston? So I'm hoping within the next sort of 20, 25, 30 minutes to go over 8 or 10 slides, each one listing some services, some of the investments that we are making in IT that will have a direct impact, or might have a direct impact on you. So these are the topics that I hope to cover. Bala Sundaram, the Vice Provost for Research and Graduate Studies, and I applied for a grant from the Department of Commerce. We'll go a little bit more into detail. So we got a grant addressing digital access gaps in education. We'll talk a little bit about HighFlex, BeaconFlex. I know Felicia spoke about that last time. The learning management system that we are using and what the future might be. Disruptive technologies. We heard a lot about AI and ChatGPT and BARD and some of the other AI tools and what impact it might have on teaching and learning, and not only teaching and learning, but it's also across other departments. Research computing, there's been some changes in that area as well. We use Teams for collaboration and communications, and we invest in Microsoft Office 365, which has a really deep and wide array of tools that we can use to facilitate collaboration and communications. I can go over some of those tools with you. We're investing in Rubric, which is our backup solution, open education resources to reduce the cost of education for our students. And the most recent is the computer lifecycle policy that's being implemented. So very quickly, wanted to speak a little bit about a grant that Bala and I received. We got this grant from the Department of Commerce. As you might know, that the pandemic had a direct impact on our minority serving students, especially our minority serving students, where they did not have access to the technology, or if they did have access to a laptop, they might not have had access to the internet. So we put together a proposal to try and to address that gap. It is a pilot program, and we got $2.9 million to do that. And we're going to identify 100 UMass Boston students and 150 minority students across the 4 ethnic institutes that we have on campus. So we have the Gaston Institute, which looks at Latino population. We have the Trotter Institute for African American, Asian American, for the Asian American students. And then we have the Native American students as well. So those are our 4 minority groups that we are working with, reaching out to the community The goal is to give each one of them a laptop as well as a jetpack. Jetpack is a hotspot which allows them to connect to the internet. Of course, giving someone technology is not enough. You need to wrap around professional development activities. The goal here is to make or offer these 250 students professional development opportunities in the IT space. Whether it is cybersecurity, whether it is coding or app development, the pace at which IT has been changing in the last few years has been really rapid. And so we want to ensure that the students can try out different technologies, sort of expose them to different opportunities. And we've sort of also invested in a gaming platform to keep the students engaged. And there's a program called Skills Gaps, which is geolocation based. So if a student is playing that game, for example, in Chinatown or in the Dorchester area, they would be exposed, or they would come to know about different internships, job opportunities in the IT space. So we're sort of, marrying this game with different opportunities, professional opportunities that companies might be offering. So it's very innovative. It's something new that we're looking at. We really want to try and get as many of our 250 students sort of exposed to the different fields within IT. They'll also have the opportunity of taking classes at UMass Boston. They'll have the opportunity of accessing all our databases that our faculty and staff have access to, which is offered through our library. We also have LinkedIn Learning, which is really a great asset. It has plenty of content that faculty and staff can access, so these students will have access to that as well. So we're partnering with the community to help us identify students that would like to join this initiative. It's a 2-year pilot program, which is sort of just getting off the ground. Yes, Felicia.
So we have a question in chat from Nancy. She says, is the Adage grant from the federal government? She's curious about the funder.
It's from the Department of Commerce. And we worked with your office to actually to file or to apply for the grant. So.
And I have a question.
Sure.
2 questions. How does someone get involved in this program, and what are the dates of it?
So we are in the process of selecting students, and we are working with our 4 ethnic institutes to identify the 100 UMass Boston students. These students, the criteria is that they must be Pell eligible. So there's a certain income level that has been identified by the funding organization, by the Department of Commerce. So we have to meet that. So we've been working with our financial aid office to help us identify the students that would fall in this category. And they don't have to be sort of minority students. And then for the community, we are looking at, again, the funding organization asked us to work within a 10-mile radius of UMass Boston. So all the students must be within that area. So we've identified Latino students in Chelsea, Chinatown for Asian American, Dorchester for African American, and for Native American, we really don't have a big population here in Boston. I believe there's a fair amount in Canton area. So we got an exception to go beyond the 10-mile radius for the Native American students. So we are using our connections and our ethnic institutes to help us identify students. We have a couple of job opportunities available on the grant. So if someone is interested in applying for one of them is to work with our community, to be like a community partner to help us manage some of that. We have some opportunities in managing the laptops and the jetpacks. So as you know, it's very it's difficult to hire people these days, but we're really hoping if you know of anyone or would like to recommend someone, that'd be great. So Felicia spoke about Beacon Flex, I think last time, so I just want to continue that thread. As part of the funding of the grant, we got money to outfit about 40 classrooms, enhance 40 of our classrooms to accommodate Beacon Flex technology or HiFlex technology. For those of you who might not know what HiFlex is, it's something that was a result of the pandemic where students have the opportunity or the ability, they make the call to attend a class either in person or remote. So the faculty member teaches a class in the Beacon Flex modality. It is listed in Wiser as that. So the student is aware of the modality of teaching. So if a student is unable to come onto campus for whatever reason, whether they're working someplace and they're unable to come, or if they just have one class and parking is expensive, as we know, so they can then attend the course remotely. So we are working with faculty. We're trying to grow that program so that faculty can agree to teach in this modality. It adds a little bit of lift in the sense that the faculty member has to not only concentrate on students in the class, but also keep an eye on students at the remote location. The grant fund actually supports hiring what we're calling digital assistants who work closely with the faculty and help them with the technology and help them with the remote students. To date, we have 5 classrooms. We only have 5, but in the next 12 months, we'll have 20, and then next 24 months, we'll have 40 classrooms that are outfitted with the technology so faculty can teach in either modality.
So Purvi, do you mind if I ask?
Sure.
For those on the call, what has been your experience with Beacon Flex or online learning arena?
So now with Beacon Flex, we have like 4 or 5 modalities of teaching and learning. You have face-to-face, which is fully face-to-face, then you have fully online, and then you have Beacon Flex, where the student has the option to attend. And the students, by and large, the feedback we received from them is this is a modality that they really prefer. They really want to avail of the flexibility offered here and attend classes using this modality. So that's their preference, and we're really trying to sort of meet them where they meet their needs, as we know that enrollments are dropping. So we really do want to try and retain as many students as possible.
Is there anybody that has any questions there or anything you'd like to share around Beacon Flex?
I actually just have a question about the distribution of classrooms. Where across campus are the 5 classrooms, and where are you targeting the future classrooms?
So the 5 classrooms that we have today, Andrea, 3 of them are in University Hall, and 1 of them is in McCormick, and I think 1 is in Wheatley. So those are the 5. For the next 12 months, we are looking to do 3 large classrooms. They'll all be in University Hall, and the balance of the rest will be between McCormick and Wheatley. And in the 24 months, we are looking to concentrate between University Hall, McCormick, and Wheatley. So we're trying to spread it out over the 2 years, but initial concentration is between McCormick and Wheatley. We really do want to try and get that up and running. Facilities has been upgrading some of our classrooms in those 2 buildings, our 2 older buildings, McCormick and Wheatley. So wherever they've upgraded the classroom, we want to install this technology in there.
And this technology is designed to help support folks who are learning both remotely and in person at the same time.
At the same time. Correct.
Okay. And are these available? Like, I know we're very student focused, but are these available if we want to offer like internal staff training programs and things like that?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Ginny, because The folks in the campus center, they have a number of meeting rooms and classrooms, not classroom, but conference rooms, and they've asked us to install this technology in all of them. So we are doing that. If there are departments that like to have this kind of technology in your conference room, we can certainly do that. It's just that you'll have to pick up the cost of that technology. It's not very expensive. It's around $2,000 to between $2,000 and $3,000. That's maybe what it might cost for a small classroom. So basic technology.
Okay, and a
And we
small
also-
classroom serves roughly how many?
We're looking between 25 and 30, Jenny.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we do have one more question in chat from Nancy. She says, are all classes live, or classes all live, or some asynchronous?
They're all live. So the idea is that the faculty member teaches live in that classroom, and then people attending also, it's completely live. It's not asynchronous. A faculty member might opt to record their lecture. That's up to them, but the goal is to have it live.
We have one more question from Joe Joseph. Can you explain more about what a digital assistant does?
So the digital assistant works with the faculty member to ensure that, excuse me, that all the students who are remote are able to, all the students who are remote are able to sign in, make sure that the technology is working. If there's a question posted by the remote student, they can keep an eye on it. If the faculty member needs assistance, sort of creating a breakout room in Zoom, the digital assistant will help them. So the faculty member can concentrate on the teaching part of it, and all the other, the technology and all this, the supporting pieces are managed by the digital assistant. We are hoping that, once this modality matures, the faculty member will not need a digital assistant, but for now, at least for the first couple of years, we want to make as many digital assistants available to faculty teaching in this modality. Moving on, I'm not sure many of you might have heard that our contract with Blackboard is expiring the end of July 2025. And we've been with Blackboard now, I think, 10 plus years. And it's always nice, once the contract ends, is to survey the marketplace to see what other systems are out there. So we've been in the process of reviewing different systems, and I think with the help of Lisa, who's helping us project manage this process, we've been conducting demos and looking at other systems in the marketplace. We're looking at Canvas being a popular solution among many universities. Blackboard itself has upgraded their version of the learning management system we use today. They're calling it Blackboard Ultra. So the vendor came and did some demos. We also invited another company called D2L, Digital to Learn. So they came and did some demos. We're in the process of kind of doing some reference checks, getting pricing, because between now and July 2025, it's not a lot of time, and we do need to do finance for it, budget for it, and make sure that there's a smooth transition between one learning management system to the other. So no decision has been made yet. We're still in the process of sort of working with these companies. Some of the advantages of these modern systems are they really have a good mobile interface, which is really where our students live today. Both system, Canvas and Blackboard Ultra, the student is able to do virtually everything that they can do on a laptop or on a desktop, they can do on their mobile phone. So really that's kind of the big push these days to it. Canvas has some other add-ons. They have modules that you can do badging. So, when you complete a course, you can earn a digital badge. You can put that badge onto LinkedIn Learning. So if someone is looking at your LinkedIn Learning profile, they are aware of the courses and some of the programs that you've completed. So both companies are sort of heading in that direction. We're sort of really excited about migrating to a new system. I spoke briefly about disruptive technologies. I think a lot of this sort of really hit us sometime in December of last year or January of this year, when we all were made aware about ChatGPT, a product that Microsoft has put out. Really the first of its kind in terms of artificial intelligence that is hitting our industry, the education industry. And this is a slide. I don't know if you subscribe or you read EduCause. That's our technology sort of platform that we visit to learn and get more information about the different technologies in our industry. And they've put out this infographic, and they really talk about what is artificial intelligence, how does it work, who's doing it. Our faculty were really very concerned about ChatGPT, mainly from an academic integrity piece, because a student can ask ChatGPT or Bard, which is Google's answer to artificial intelligence, to write a paper or to solve a mathematical equation or to write a program. So if someone is is enrolled in a computer science course and they've been asked to develop an app or a program, ChatGPT or Bard can do that for them. And so the learning design team is working very closely with each of the faculty members that come to us, or we are going out to the departments and trying to see and make them aware of this technology and how they might address it in their class.
You mind just pause there and just say, does
Sure.
anyone have any thoughts or questions that you would like to share about ChatGPT?
Or if you've been impacted by it.
Are you familiar with it? Do you use it? Do you have some thoughts and questions? So we have a question around, is it frowned upon for people to use these tools?
It is frowned upon if you're using it in an unethical manner. So if you're using it to, for example, doing your homework, or if you're using ChatGPT and not giving it credit or not citing it, it is considered unethical. So if you are taking text generated by ChatGPT, somewhere in your paper, you should refer that it was, and that's how it has been created. You can, of course, take that text and change it as much as you want. A lot of folks will use ChatGPT as a way to get started, and then use it to change or modify the text. But in either case, I think it is expected that you should give reference to it.
And you mind if I build on that a little bit more?
Sure, of course.
So I think also we're at a point in ChatGPT where we need to learn and discover it. And so another mindset that's prevalent at the university is, how can we help enable students to use it properly? So it's a tool and it's out there. How can we incorporate it in classes to help students think more critically? Or even how, if we are a member of staff, how can we use that within our workplace to handle some of the tasks that it will do well? So how do we actually use this as a tool that will help us but not hinder us is another mindset. So as we use it and we hear different ideas and things that are useful in the classroom, I think it really is helpful to share. And so if that is something that you're interested in, we do have a series from the Learning Design Services this summer, but we can do even more of that. Just let us know what it is that you're interested in, and we can take a look at providing more insight on that. But this is the billion-dollar question which is, how do we use it properly, and what does abuse look like, and how do we make it helpful, and how do we empower everyone to use it properly, because it is a very, very capable tool, but it doesn't replace judgment. The more expertise a person has, the better the results can be. So
Thank you
just
for
wanted to add that on.
Yeah. I just want to add that, a number of institutions, both education and non-education, number of countries are developing practices or policies around usage of AI. So I think maybe coming down the pike, you might be seeing some of those, especially I think in Europe, there's a lot of concern about the use of AI. So they tend to sort of be a little bit more rigid in their approach. I think we tend to be a lot more liberal. So we let the end user decide how they should use it. So, but
And we
just
do
to be
have
aware that. Go ahead.
sorry.
No, I think just to be aware that there might be policies and best practices being formulated by institutions, by countries, and you might be seeing that coming out fairly soon. No, I was just saying that UMass Boston does not have a set of policies around that at the moment. So we are working closely with our faculty to answer those questions as best we can.
I just want to note we do have a comment in chat of an interest in learning more about AI for grant writing. And so that is something that we have captured, and we'll canvas to see if there is additional interest. And also would like to welcome you if you'd like to come to Learning Design Services. We're happy to help. You can come to drop in VOH, you can schedule a consult, you can drop in to see me, and I'm happy to help if you just wanted to go ahead and get help right away. That is a great idea. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's great. So because we were getting so many questions from faculty, we hosted a session, I think it was in March of 2023, around AI and this disruptive technology. Then we also hosted a university conference on teaching, learning, and technology, which was in May. And we had a keynote speaker who's a faculty member at UMass Boston, Alex Stubbs. And we had a number of other faculty as well come and talk about their exposure, their interaction with AI. We had several students also come and talk about their experience. And so we're trying to get as much information out there to the community so that we can deal with it. We can educate all of it. We can educate everyone so that you can make an informed decision as to how best to move forward. The last slide on this disruptive technology is again back to AI, and again, how is AI used in education? It's around content. You can use it for interactive tutoring. So if a student needs help with something, you can ask AI to help with that. There's adaptive learning. So if a student is not doing well in a certain area, they can use AI tools to repeat that module again until they get all the questions correct. So help with curriculum material and identifying gaps in classrooms. So again, these are some of the ways that AI is being used in education. From the positive side, of course, we haven't documented academic integrity issues that students might be availing.
And also share that it's really helpful for generating ideas and help you expand your way of thinking. So if there's something that you have to do that you're procrastinating on, I find that it really helps to end the procrastination because it gives you ideas and then you can keep moving without the pause and delays.
Moving on to another field on research computing. You might know that we are a member of the Mass Green High Performance Computing Cluster Computing Center out at Holyoke. And And that was a consortium of the five UMass campuses, as well as area universities. So we had BU, MIT, Northeastern, all the universities came together and created the MGHPCC Center. The 5-campus cluster which we were using has now come to an end. Our agreement, our contract sort of has ended. We have now pivoted to the cluster that UMass Amherst has standing up. So we've joined that cluster. It's called the Unity cluster. So we're in the process. As of July 1st, we migrated all our researchers off the shared cluster onto the Unity cluster. The Unity cluster is still housed at Holyoke, mainly because the cost of electricity and operating it is much lower as compared to other parts of the state. So again, this is something that's just happening at the moment, and I think in the coming months we'll be sort of doing a lot more outreach to faculty members and making them aware of this service. We spoke a little bit in the beginning about communications, collaboration, and organization. This is something that impacts all faculty, staff, and students here at UMass Boston. We've invested in Microsoft Office 365, and it has a really, really wide and deep set of tools in our toolbox that you can avail of. I think we use some of the very basic ones. We use Outlook for email, and we might use Microsoft Word or Excel, but there are so many other tools that are available that you can use that probably really help with communication and collaboration. For example, in order to maintain my to-do list, I use a program called List and Planner. So if you haven't tried it, there are some great sessions that are organized by Catherine Ananis in IT, and she will go over some of these tools with you. You can try them. They're pretty easy to get up and running. We in IT and others across campus are starting to use Teams quite a bit. Teams has a chat feature in there. It has a video conferencing feature in it. You can share files. So it's a very rich tool. So it's getting a lot more popular on campus as well. There are some other very powerful tools like Power BI, Power Automate, that can automate processes for you so that you're not doing something manually again and again. There's forms. You can build a form very quickly. There's bookings. If you're in an office that you like to manage your calendar with, you can use bookings, and folks can make a reservation and they can meet with you. So I'm just sort of touching on a few apps that at least I know of and I use, but there are many, many others. And if you'd like to learn a lot more about it, do let us know. And Catherine Ananis is always putting together some great workshops in this area. Do any of you use anything besides the traditional Outlook, Word, Excel? Do any of you use
OneNote?
OneNote is good, yeah. OneNote is a great.
Great list.
Yeah, do try and do try these out. They're very good. Now, moving on, the university is investing in a cloud-based backup system. And the goal here is that to centralize all the backups in one system. We've been noticing that different departments have been buying their own backup solutions. So, clearly we're not availing of the economies of scale. We're not centralizing it. We can get a much better deal if we try and all come together. But more importantly, I don't know whether you've heard about some of these attacks that different organizations have been encountering called ransomware, where someone comes and takes over your systems, your computer systems, thereby locking everyone out. And they will only release it if you pay them a fair amount of money. So a Rubrik is a system that guarantees access to your data, even if you're hit with a ransomware attack. So that from a security perspective, it's really critical. So what we are doing now is we're reaching out to different departments, trying to learn about who all are using their own backup solutions. We're trying to sort of bring them in over the next year or so into the Rubrik system so that all backups are centralized and the departments are not spending their own budget monies for an external backup solution. So that's really the goal behind Rubrik. Rubrik also backs up all your documents in Office 365. So if you're using OneDrive or email, Word, Excel, any document that's stored using Office 365 in the cloud is also going to be backed up by Rubrik. So truly, if we are attacked by ransomware, we can get up and running, very, very quickly. If you are aware of a department that's investing in their own backup solution, do let us know. We're happy to have a consultation with them to see how we can merge their backup into Rubrik.
JDS, those backups, are they available file by file?
Like some of the restorers, like, if you have a big issue with OneDrive, you have to work with Microsoft in order to roll it back completely. And then sometimes, it's easy just to restore a single file, but so I'm not sure how Rubrik works and how much easier it is to use than the OneDrive versioning and things like that.
Right. So OneDrive, Rubrik is truly a system backup. So if you do lose a file, in order to recover it, you would have to restore your entire mailbox.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's
that
not-
backup point, you'd lose anything from that point
Yes.
forward that you've done. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm not sure how many people are aware of something called OER, or Open Education Resource. So as you might know, that the cost of textbooks has been going up steadily. I was speaking to a faculty member teaching, I think, psychology, said the cost of the book was shy of little $200. So I think students really having to spend that kind of money sometimes can make attending college, or at least doing well in college or at a university, prohibitive. So this is a program that's been started across the country, very popular in Europe, Australia, others, where folks create content and they put it out in the open community. So you can use it freely, you can distribute it freely, and the goal really is to replace a traditional textbook. So this is our second year of the program. We solicit feedback from faculty members to adapt or create open education resources, and we give them an incentive. So we work with the provost office, which is financing this incentive. So if a faculty member decides to adopt a textbook in lieu of their own a traditional paid textbook from a publisher, that faculty member will get X number of dollars, and the number keeps going up. And the incentive is ultimately, the goal is to have faculty create open education resources. That's really what we are working towards. Really trying to reduce the cost of education for our students.
So I have a question from Joseph. Is it like Substack or more like edX?
What is the first one?
Substack. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah. So it's basically I would say neither. I mean, edX is a delivery platform. an open delivery platform. This is more around the textbook. So if a faculty member was teaching economics and was asking the students to buy an intro to economics book for, I don't know, $75, if there is an intro to economics in the OER field, the faculty member might decide to adopt that textbook in lieu of the students having to spend $75. So that's really the goal behind it. I know edX, at least a few edX courses I've taken, there's really no book or textbook that they ask us to invest in.
Is
Does
this,
that
I
help,
have a
Jo?
question too. Is this related to Sage OER materials? I know Paula mentioned that in her presentation.
Right. So so when we say OER, we're really looking at those that are truly open. But we also include subscription or databases that the university subscribes to. So for example, we subscribe to the Sage suite of textbooks. A faculty member can certainly decide to use content from that from that site. We've already paid for it. We're already paying Sage for it. So if that works for the faculty member in lieu of them having to ask students to buy a traditional textbook, that's fine, that's good. So anything that we can do to reduce the cost of education. So we use OER quite sort of broadly. Did that help, Joseph? With the question? Yes, no?
We also have another question. Joseph said, yes, thank you. And Jenny asked, is Substack a closed platform? So likely not the same. So the OER would be UMB specific. So would the UMB specific?
Sorry, yeah, that other comment was the Substack was directed at the
previous
Joe's
question.
comment. Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
was wondering OER, that would that just be UMB specific, or is that like more inclusive of like multiple institutions and multiple faculty? And
So there are OER repositories in online. Different universities have created their own repositories, and if they are flagged as OER, anyone can use it. So there's one called OpenStax, STAX, and if you go to that, there are a number of intro courses available. There's another group called Merlot, there's Lumen Learning. So there are different organizations, different universities. George Mason has put some out, George Washington, universities in Canada have done it.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
It's really been growing a lot. So this is another big change that's happening today. This policy went into effect July 1st, just maybe about 10, 11 days ago. You now, if you are looking to buy a computer, a department, you cannot do that on your own. So you have to request a computer using the link that I've posted here. Someone from IT, most probably John Mazzarella, or one of his team members will schedule a consultation, and we'll try to learn more about your needs. And they have computers in stock, and if they feel that you do need a new computer because the one that you're using is not adequate, then they have Apple and Dell computers in stock, and they can give you one of those, so you can get one the next day. But if you're looking for something and you have a special need, for example, if you're doing research and you need an intense a processing intensive application like SPSS or SAS or Stata or MATLAB, or one of those, or if you're using Adobe Creative Cloud and you use Photoshop, those are some of the exceptions, and they will review it case by case and make a call. Again, this policy just went into effect 10 to 12 days ago. I'm sure that there'll be processes that we need to iron out, but That's how the school is sort of moving forward now. So that is my overview of the different things that are happening in IT. And again, just trying to, I know it's more sort of faculty focused, more education focused and student focused. There are some things that impact staff as well, and the computer life cycle, for example. But if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Do you see any news? So you're on mute, I think.
We hope that you found this to be helpful.
Yeah.
Hopefully we shared something that you weren't aware of, and maybe it's of interest to you, or you could pass that information along to someone else. If you do think of something that you would like to know more about, definitely let us know. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we will definitely share the links to the training and bookings. Yeah, it's great, especially if you
Great
want to
app.
have people drop in on office hours. They can see your availability with theirs. And if you're working with people off campus, even that might be helpful to you. But we'll share those links if you have thoughts around ChatGPT and something you want to canvas and pull together a session on that, or if you would like to come to us for that, definitely you have a lot of resources there. No matter what role you're in, we're there to help. But definitely we'll pull the links together on this so that you can participate in or share or whatever your interests are on any of the information. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
You guys.